All right, folks, what's up? It is December the 10th, 2018, and this is our stock market analysis from the team here at SellThatOption.com. Let's get right into it with the S&P 500. Really interesting day here in the S&P 500. We initially gapped down just a little bit at 263.36 or so. Moved all the way down this really long wick on the candle. Right, really long wick, all the way down to 258.50 or so, and then we rallied throughout the day and then closed right here. S&P was up 50 cents on the day. We're still below this 9 EMA, and so I certainly think that this 269 level will continue to act, and we're going to open lower than that, of course, tomorrow with this EMA, this 9 EMA. We are still bearish here on this death cross, and we do still have a lower high in the market, and so it's going to be really interesting to see what happens here. Let's actually go to our trade tab real quick, and I want to show this. So even though the S&P 500 was up 50 cents today, we had about 600,000, 550,000 more puts sold on or executed here on the S&P 500 than we did calls. Now, we don't know if that's hedging, right? We don't know if folks are hedging their long positions by buying puts, or if folks do think that we're going to continue to see a down move in the market. But there were more puts sold than calls, which is something that's been unique, because even on a couple of the down days recently, we've been seeing more calls on the S&P 500. Now we move to our Qs here. Maximize this sell. Interesting day, less volatile than the S&P 500, still below this 9 EMA, really significant death cross right here. Didn't get as close to challenging the trend lines in the market from there. Okay, lower highs are still in effect with the Qs. We go to our trade tab, put in our Qs here, and you're going to see significant more. So 357,000 more puts sold than calls, and so you're looking at almost twice as many puts than calls. Again, don't know if folks are hedging their bets, but this is particularly interesting because we were up 1%. So we were up 1% on the Qs, and more puts were sold. Okay, so that is absolutely indicative of folks thinking that this move isn't legitimate, and this upper percentage isn't legitimate. At least that's how I interpret so many more puts being sold or being executed on the Qs than calls. And so again, I am still bearish. Nothing has changed my kind of longer term outlook on the Qs. We'll go to the diamonds, up 40 cents today, or 0.16%. A very similar candle, right? And so a very similar candle to our S&P 500, really long wick, really volatile, $5, percentage and a half to 2% or so there. Almost identical candle, identical challenge here of the trend line. The trend line, for me at least, is still intact from a technical perspective. I still see this trend line as intact because we did not close below it. Death cross might be coming, and so just kind of waiting on that. We can go to the diamonds. Tends to have less action. We did have more calls than puts, which is unique here. The diamonds market tends to be really less liquid, less actionable than the S&P or the Qs. And finally, here in our Russell 2000, our small caps. Small caps were down, are pretty much our only indice of the major four that I like to look at that was down, again, because it is a leading indice. This actually speaks pretty significant volumes for me here. And so we closed beneath this trend line that I have drawn right here. Closed, this is on the weekly. Let me go ahead and get back to the daily. There we go. That's much better. So on the daily, we closed beneath this trend line. It's making me expect that some of these other trend lines on the diamonds, the Qs, and the spiders are going to break. Okay, and so my gut tells me that we are likely going to see a break here of the other trend lines, because the IWM also has. We're below this 9 EMA, massive death cross, finally starting to see the 200 simple moving average. If you look right here, simple moving average is slowly starting to move down just a little bit, but it is noticeable. And so that's going to be something that we haven't seen for a while, right? Because we have this, wrong one, sorry about that. Because we have this basic move, we're starting to see this curl. So we're starting to see this curl, which also indicates a bear market. All right, maximize this sell. Here we are on our volatility index. Volatility was down after spiking up to 26. If we see another spike, I might get a little bit more active than I currently am in volatility. But we do see the volatility levels there. Really looking to break past 26. If we can do that, I think we have another bearish move in equities a little bit more long term. We're outside of this box, and so again, because we're outside of the box, we tend to be bearish in equities. But again, we're not in full-fledged, what I would call full-fledged panic mode. If we start to see the VIX creeping into the 30s, way up here, not even in this particular, there we go. If we start to see the VIX in this area, I'm going to begin to say, hey, kind of getting into a panic zone. Till then, not there yet. Let's get into some of our premium ETF selling charts. Massive move here in EWZ. I'm actually looking to initiate directional trade in EWZ here shortly. FXC. I just messed FXC up. We will figure out what's going on there. All right, let's try to get that back. Not able to get that back. We're just going to move gold here. FXE, nothing major here, although I am beginning to get interested perhaps in directional as well. Gold, typical down day in gold because our equities were bullish. TLT continue to move, and so TLT is interesting because we were bullish in equities, yet we had an up day here in TLT as well, and so there might be something there. Let's bring up USO large. So we've been watching USO for quite some time. USO has been on this major move down all the way to 1051, but we're kind of looking like we might challenge that low again. Really, I think a lot of the geopolitical stuff is keeping USO hampered right now, and until we have some level of resolution out of some of our major OPEC countries and perhaps some level of discussion here with the U.S., which has, of course, become one of the largest, if not the largest, producer here, then I think we're going to continue to see some level of volatility in USO. Other than that, nothing really to note here. Oil derivatives tend to just get hammered. And that's really it. Kind of moving into tomorrow. Let's take a look at our futures here. Futures are just marginally down. You see VIX is down 0.1%, and then you have 6 100ths, 6 100ths, and 1 100th in the NASDAQ, the S&P, and the Russell minis respectively. So not really looking anything major in regards to any indication right now of where we're going to open, if there's going to be any major open in either way or not. So that's where we're at, folks. Really just kind of watching this bearish market unfold day by day. Really good trading opportunities are out there. If you're interested in talking trading, email me at Ryan@SellThatOption. Follow me on Twitter at Sell_that_OPTIO. Follow me on Facebook or Instagram at SellThatOption. I look forward to chatting with you. And folks, money opportunities are out there, and it's really just up for us to go grab them. I would love for you to join me on the other side, and let's have a great rest of our week.